Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena I am playing a Dimir mill deck. Yes, we are bringing mill into the year 2020, standard 2020. I've received a lot of messages. There are some you crazy mill fans out there. You love your mill. And I've received a lot of messages that mill is dead. Patient rebuilding is gone. Psychic corrosion is gone. You can't use them in standard 2020. They're rotating. No. But there is hope. There is hope in the form of Drowned Secrets, this enchantment that whenever we play a blue spell, target player puts 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. There is hope in Ashiok, the Dream Renderer, who mills the top 4 and then exiles the graveyard. There is hope in Bond of Insight, who will mill for 4 cards and get you back 2 spells. There is hope in Enter the God Eternals, which will mill 4 cards, kill a thing, and gain you 4 life. These cards provide the curve that is the mill dream, which is Drowned Secrets, Ashiok, Bond of Insight, Enter the God Eternals, 2, 3, 4, 5. Along the way, you milled just a ton of deck, and you gain 4 life, made a 4/4, and kill the thing. Aside from that, if the opponent's going to rush us down, we have to be able to kill their stuff. I've got 4 copies of Legion's End, because a lot of the key decks right now, besides the Field of the Dead decks, that it goes without saying that Legion's End is helpful against them, but the format is smaller. So nearly all of the key decks right now are running 4 of every good creature that they have access to. Very few decks can run like 2 of this and 3 of that and 1 of this. Most of them are like, well, I need 20 creatures, so here are the 5 best creatures that are available in the card pool. Run 4 of each. That is beautiful for Legion's End, because Legion's End, whenever it hits multiple creatures, whenever it 2-for-1 something out of their hand or 2 things on the battlefield, that is getting ahead. So, while at first I thought this card might take a vacation, due to the fact that Field of the Dead and Scape Shift and that just zombie explosion, as well as the Vampire Tribe, were out of there, I don't think so. I think in a smaller format, you need to keep playing Legion's End. Now, the Elder Spell's interesting. There's only a few decks that are fully reliant on Planeswalkers. Only a few. There's some Jeskai Super Friends here and there. Esper Control with a bunch of planies. People play that even if it's not very good. Grixis is still around. So there are some problems out there that the Elder Spell needs to solve. What I hate about running the Elder Spell is that it's bad against so many decks. Feather, Simic Flash, those are... Cavalcade has Chandra, but they might not draw it. So at least 2 of the key decks, which in my opinion are Feather and Flash, just no Planeswalkers. Dead Elder Spell, and against those decks you really can't miss a beat, so drawing a blank Elder Spell is a very sad time. Thought Erasure, Cry of the Canarium, and Ritual Soot, just keeping things dead. Thought Erasure needs no discussion, just tear that deck apart. Is key to the deck though, solves problems the deck can't solve on its own. And God Eternal Kefnet, if you want to be a pure mill player and you never want to win from damage ever in your life, just don't play this card, it's fine. Instead, you can run some murders, some way to keep the board clear, something like that. I like playing with God Eternal Kefnet a lot, so I have my favorite thing probably in the world is Bond of Insight off God Eternal Kefnet. I don't know of many better feelings than hitting Bond of Insight for 2 mana off God Eternal Kefnet, getting back 2 more instants or sorceries. It's pretty glorious. So, that's the deck. Let's go see how it does. Okay, we have a hand. Drowned Secrets, Legion's End, Bond of Insight, Enter the God Eternals. Let's rock and roll. Light up that opponent's graveyard, that's the evil plan. Simic Guildgate, well, that's a start. Let's get the Drowned Secrets online. I don't know or suspect I'll need the Living End next turn if our opponent's on gates, and there you go. I said Living End, I mean Legion's End, you know what I'm saying. Alright, let's take out those gates. So, Growth Spiral, Circuitous Route, Chandra the Awakened Inferno, Golos, and of course the Great Field of the Dead. I don't have a good answer to the Golos, don't have a good answer to the Chandra. The zombies we can fight off with a Legion's End, at least for a little while. But what if we take the ramp spells and then Bond of Insight to try to keep hitting these things? Let's take the Circuitous Route, then the Golos, and then plan to get back a Thought Erasure in time to get the Chandra, because our opponent only has one red source. I'll put you in the graveyard. We need to keep drawing land ourselves to hit our Bond of Insight, so that's my priority. That was a pretty tough Thought Erasure. Lots of worthy targets, you could say. And the ramping is getting going. Let's take Golos away from our opponent. Let's keep milling them. Nope. And another Bond of Insight I can take. The problem is Chandra might come down. Now, right now, the opponent doesn't have the right mana to cast Chandra, so do I just bank on them continuing to whiff on that? Yeah, I will. Yes, I will. Make them get just that lucky to pull another red source, because usually these decks can't focus that much on red mana. Hard enough to be a 3-color deck in this format. Being 4 colors is pretty challenging. Here they come. All right, let's Bond of Insight ya. Keep milling ya. Hopefully at some point we take away the hit some of the sources they feel like they need. Let's get our Thought Erasures back. Keep hitting this hand. No untapped red source. No Plaza of Harmony, please. Growth Spiral. Okay. Does not play a land, so there's some cards stuck over there. That bodes well for us. So, Thought Erasure. I want to take Chandra away, but let's see what else is brewing up there. 2 Gates Ablaze and a God's Willing. Well, Chandra, you're out. Keep the Legion's End. We are potentially facing a lot of zombies, but I already have one, and I have a Bond of Insight. I'm going to be aggressive. Let's go for Ashiok to try to turbo mill this game away. 31, halfway done. God's Willing out of there. Another Thought Erasure. Don't think I need that either. I think my best play next turn is a Bond of Insight. Reload. Oh no, double Field of the Dead, but there's also double Azorius Guildgate and double Simic Guildgate, so actually the opponent is having a very hard time meeting the requirements of activating the field. Let's do it. Another 4 cards each. We want another Bond of Insight to keep that train rolling. We may as well take another Thought Erasure and keep surveilling our deck, but the opponent, they can't take it anymore. And their Gates deck, I think the biggest point of that game was taking Circuitous Route. Their deck really fell apart on the mana base without Circuitous Route to fix their mana. 2 Thought Erasures and a Bond of Insight. If we're against another Gates deck, this is good. Our opponent has given us the Chandra Fire Eyes of Cavalcade, in which case this will not be good. We'll have to find a sweeper very quickly for against Cavalcade, but the hands don't get much better. Our play against Cavalcade is to find Cry of the Canarium and Ritual Soot as fast as we can, use Bond of Insight to get them back, and cast Enter the God Eternals over and over, making giant amassed zombies and gaining a bunch of life. Our opponent has the Winged Cat. Surely you didn't get to level whatever without, figuring out how to mulligan your deck. So, let's go. Let's do the magic. Thank you. Watery Grave. What you got? This ad break brought to you by our opponent, Cool Stuff Inc. Please check out coolstuffinc.com. Promo code CGB5 saves you 5%. Give them a chance to earn your business. They're a super sponsor of the channel, and I really appreciate them. Thornwood Falls, 1 life. Thought Erasure, get in that hand. Oh boy. Doesn't this look like the most fun you can have? So we have Legion's End for the Spectral Sailor. The Frilled Mystics put a threat on the board. The Sinister Sabotages are on curve, but I probably can't get past that. So I think the best thing to do is take the Mystics. But these are going to, this is going to be just a miserable experience, isn't it? Cry. Not that good against an opponent on sorcery speed stuff. So when we try to Legion's End this, the opponent might, if they get lucky in top deck, they might be able to sabotage it, in which case we'd want the Cry, but they still have to hit their land drops. I don't need to hit my land drops. I should probably keep just any spells the opponent might have to counter. And Cry can hit a Frilled Mystic if we do manage to get rid of the Spectral Sailor. Yeah. The strategy of making the opponent have it. Ugh. When you know they have it. It's gonna be a long game. Settle in, everybody. So the opponent responds to the Thought Erasure with Growth Spiral, probably digging for that land. They know if I take the Growth Spiral, it's a big problem for them. Then they run out the Spectral Sailor. So I guess I don't have to take Frilled Mystic now because of Cry of the Canarium. The opponent has the mana to cast it, though, and it is a threat. It's both a threat and a counter, whereas these are counters with a tiny bit of selection that may or may not matter. So I'll take the Mystic. And a Dismal Backwater I don't need. And we'll play our tap land. Say go. Try to pressure the Spectral Sailor. Not let the opponent keep it on the board if we can help ourselves. Ashiok. So we want to look for two double spell opportunities. The first one would come with Cry of the Canarium or with Legion's End and Ashiok. We could also try to resolve Bond of Insight, which the opponent will counter almost certainly, and then have Legion's End and Cry of the Canarium to get rid of the Sailor. It might be an overreaction to the Sailor. Maybe I should make the most mana efficient play. I know it will get countered, which is Bond of Insight, but at least we get rid of a counter. See how the opponent responds. I'm sure they're not going to let me get back 2 Thought Erasures here. They could, but we really just need to run these counter spells down. Sinister Sabotage, Sinister CGB. Does get to bin an Essence Scatter, which is good for the opponent. The card wasn't going to do them much good. Alright, off the top Black Source, double Legion's End. That will do. Let's fire one off. If the opponent, if this is their only threat, the opponent may choose to defend the Sailor. And if they do, we're really happy about that. They could also use the mana, draw a card, and just hope to find a better threat than the Sailor, which, I don't know. If that's your last counterspell, I think I make that play. I think I would draw a card and hold on to my counterspell. Save it to defend a better threat, because Sailor just isn't going to win the game on its own too often. And that, Oh, he hit a second Sailor. I can't believe they didn't counter in that case, and it looks like they forgot how that works. So, here comes Ashiok. Right down Ashiok Lane. He's got a bag that's full of toys. Now, you could ignore this Ashiok, and if this is your last counterspell, I would. But the opponent, you know, they're doing their own thing. Okay, negate, sure. Top deck war. I've got a number of removal spells. I've got an Elder Spell that's going to do nothing in this matchup because our opponent doesn't play Planeswalkers, like at all. So, oops to myself. So, I know you're not going to do anything on your turn, opponent. Why don't you pass this turn? Why don't you say go? I can't think of anything that they would be staring at right now being like, do I want to play this on my turn? There's just nothing like that in these decks typically. But it appears that our opponent's going to think no matter what. Maybe it's an elaborate bluff. Just so you know, We are in unranked. We're battling for a couple points of EXP. And that's what the opponent feels like they have to be on full control bluff mode for. Some people, they want to play Magic the way they want to play Magic. Let's see how you respond to a Drowned Secrets. It is one of my win cons. It is a slow win con. And there is the counterspell for the Drowned Secrets. Now, if they keep on top, it's gotta be... Okay, I was gonna say it'll have to be a Nightpack Ambush or a Frilled Mystic if they keep it. They do not. But we got another counterspell out of the opponent's hand. We can guess they've drawn more. And we can guess that they are negates and sabotages. Maybe Quench, if they run that card. Well, we saw them discard an Essence Capture earlier. Let's see if they pulled another one. And yep, why not? The third Sinister Sabotage. Ready and waiting. Down to one card left, but I have 4 cards, but this one's basically dead, and these need relevant targets, so we're not in a great position. We could still fold to a Nightpack Ambusher and a Counterspell. Never mind. That's a good one against that card if we get the time to use it. Our opponent with a Cutthroat. All right, we've got something to use some of these spells on. Ooh. Let's start there. Thought Erase You. I really want to resolve Enter the God Eternals. If this helps me do that, oh, the Legion's End is looking juicy. What else you got? So our opponent's been sandbagging Cutthroats. Oh, this is all to pump the Cutthroats. So the opponent unsummons their own Cutthroat, replays their Cutthroat, pumps their other Cutthroat. All right, you made a 5/4. Don't need this land. So the Legion's End is very efficient, but the God Eternals could just win the game, and we know it's going to resolve here. Plus we can Legion's End next turn. So I'm going to put the pressure on the opponent with the Enter the God Eternals. They would have drawn a lot of land, though. You can't overthink what you mill. It's random. Sometimes RNG hits you, sometimes it doesn't. I know it's really easy to look at those cards and be like, ugh. All right, let's see what the opponent's got here with the Legion's End. If they're able to play an instant card here and buff the Cutthroat once, we have Cry of the Canarium to still finish it off, but we'd want to play that after the zombie army attacks, which is why we lead with the Legion's End. Force their hand. Oh no! Oh my god, they drew worst possible. I don't have a ton of sympathy. They're the Flash deck, but yeah, that's a beats. They got whooped by Legion's End here today. While they're out of cards, let's draw the card with the caves. If we draw a Bond of Insight, or if we drew a Kefnet, we'd want to resolve it right now, while we know that the coast is clear. Okay, a couple lands in a row. This is getting a little bit scary. Off the top, opponent doing the Drago thing. There's a Kefnet. Let's attack first and see if we can get something out of the opponent, see what they do. We could try to wait for, like... If we're patient, we could try to wait for a way, like another Thought Erasure or Bond of Insight getting back a Thought Erasure to try to lead for this Kefnet. Kefnet's very strong, and running it out here is very aggressive. I think I'll be patient here. We have the advantage. Our opponent's going to have to make the first move at some point. If they want to battle through these Cry of the Canariums, it could take their resources and Kefnet could come down. Here we come. Down to 5. So yeah, we're playing the waiting game now. We're the tempo. We don't need to throw things into counter magic. We can try to overload on our opponent on a big turn. All right, 1 life. Did you get out of it, Mr. Simic Flash? Did you find the answers? There's a good game. Sounds like a taunt. I'll send one in good faith. All right, you've got the ambusher. Are you gonna chump? I mean, it's not a chump, it's a trade. No shame in that. Let's see if the opponent responds to this Ashiok. Frilled Mystique. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, let's go for Cry of the Canarium. Get rid of the Frilled Mystique. So, is their last card a Quench? I haven't seen any Quenches. That does tell me that perhaps the opponent just does not play that card. So let's go for it. If it's an Essence Capture, we weren't getting it out of the hand anytime soon. Oh my god. Sometimes you just can't get it right. Sometimes you just can't get it right, guys. Wow. Nice draw. That's the draw you want. Now, did they draw into a counter spell as well? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, now that we know they play Quench, we're going to go for this first. Oh, that resolved way too easily. Here's Ashiok then. We see how quick things are resolving? That's not the way things resolve if you have the counter. Well, we got the 4th Sinister Sabotage. And we got the 4th Frilled Mystic. Take him to the woodshed, Ashiok. We didn't want to kill him with damage anyway. There's nothing we want to do more than torture such decks. Ooh. Awakening of the Vidugazi? Yeah, show me your whole exiled pile. 1, 2, 3. All the Frilled Mystics. The 4th Brineborn Cutthroat is here. The 4th and final Cutthroat hath arrived. I think there are still some big wolves. Big Daddy Wolf. I see 3 ambushers. Let's see what we see after this ability goes off. Wow, they play a lot of Quench. At least 3. What do you think they've got? It's an instant. If I go for the Legion's End, and the opponent counters it, then I get to resolve God Eternals. The game is pretty much over. And if they don't have a counter, I'm still sitting on the God Eternals just waiting for a target, and that's still a good spot. Sailor, okay. Well, they'll get some card draw. Let's see what they do. Hopefully it pulls them low so the God Eternals resolves. 3 mana left, but no more Sinister Sabotages in the deck. And we get to see the hand. There's an Essence Capture. That won't be good enough, that's for sure. Hey-ya. And that pause there does show you that, like, Essence Capture wasn't castable. That pause shows the opponent's using stops. They're positioning stops to keep full control mode on at all times. It does make you more effective at bluffing. It also makes, it is the correct play is in any sort of competitive sense. It's a total douche thing to do in regular play mode. If you're playing with pretty much no stakes, it's just a terrible thing to do to other people. Just... I'm not saying it's wrong. It's technically correct, but much like waiting till the absolute last second to crack your Evolving Wilds, it just makes you a very unfun person to play games with. So try not to do that. Folks, friends, internet pals, our opponent, no cards in deck. We're just gonna double Elder Spell them for some BM fun. And that will do it. Aw, did that tilt you? I played the whole game against your frickin' all counters deck. I don't care if it tilts you. So, drowned, cry, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. We'll need a second blue. So hopefully that presents itself in a reasonable amount of time. Opponent opens on Steam Vents. They have Liliana. I was going to speculate, and if I had speculated, I would have said Grixis, but then came a Thunderkin Awakener. So let's set up for Cry of the Canarium. We'll play out Drowned Secrets for right now. Filling the opponent's graveyard when they play Thunderkin Awakener is a scary proposition. Don't love it. Don't love it a bit, but play your Risen Reef. Let's go. Let's see your Risen Reef, buddy. They always have it. Okay, we're going to Neoform into it, perhaps. Yes. Behold, away goes the Neoform Elementals. Coming at ya. Now, do I cry one Risen Reef? The opponent most certainly going to find way to play more. Find ways to play more, use my words. We could also play out an Ashiok, but then the Ashiok gets attacked. And the opponent gets a whole bunch of value. Sounds bad. So, yeah. Guess we'll have to do this for now. Scorch! Ouch. We can Legion's End a bunch of these things, though. And aren't we glad we got rid of that Reef before something terrible happened? Still need the blue mana. Deck is being a little unkind. The caves are not being good to me. I think we'll wait a turn. Our opponent may have a second Scorcher. So let's play out Ashiok. Just divert the opponent's attention a little bit. All right. The opponent wants to attack down the Ashiok. At least it helps out my life total. Gets me more draws for a blue source, which once we find one, we should be in a better position. The opponent may ignore Ashiok, but no. So Ashiok does hurt Neoform. Neoform says that you get to search your library, and Ashiok says spells and abilities your opponent's control can't cause their controller to search their library, meaning, yeah, none of this. There's Cavalier Flame. Holy crap. That's strong. And very large. That's not a good thing. And the opponent shocks the Ashiok. Hateful. This is not good. We are going to take a beating from this Cavalier Flame. And there is nothing I can do about it. Our draw absolutely petered out. We never drew a second blue source in our top 12. Oof. And that is Drawn from Dreams. What a crazy card to throw in your elemental list. This is a very different deck. And that level of value is pretty much unbeatable at this point. Don't think we have a prayer. You can pump that Cav. The opponent doesn't pump that Cav. Would have done 2 extra damage, so what do they have better to do with their mana? A negate is my fear. That's the wrong color. I guess I'll draw this card and see what happens. And that's game. Just nothing happening. Nothing happening. That cave's really got me. It all comes down to this. If we win, 3 wins. If we lose, 2 losses and we're out. They did a change to that in case you missed it. Rather than the 2-0 required, it's a you can go 3-0, 3-1, or 2 losses, whichever some group of that comes first. And they changed the payouts. I'm still getting used to it. The update was just a few minutes ago as I'm recording this. Rugged Highlands, gain a life, all right. Let's kick it off with Drowned Secrets. Get those extra mill triggers from our Thought Erasures. Who knows, we might even get a better card by waiting to Thought Erasure here. Our opponent with Season of Growth, looks like Feather. I'll fight Feather. Let's mill you up. Get those critters out of here. That was a nice couple of cards on top of the deck, and we're going to take Feather the Redeemed. I don't need another one of you. One should be more than enough here. Next turn, we're probably thought erasing Aurelia. Our opponent draws double Season of Growth. Okay, we really can't let them have a creature. As soon as they actually have a creature, we're so dead. Mill all their creatures. That's the new strategy. Ew. Yep, out of there. The plan is to get Kefnet down and get some values. Because once the opponent actually draws a creature, I think we lose. Bond of Insight's interesting, but let's get Kefnet onto the battlefield. I actually don't know if milling the opponent's going to be good in this game. The opponent can Defiant Strike, by the way, to draw a card. No, they scoop! I am stunned. I mean, I know they might be frustrated from that position, but all they have to do is top deck a creature, and I don't think I can actually win. Not with the way that they would draw cards off 2 Seasons of Growth. EXP. EXP. Well, that was a fun event playing the standard 2020 Dimir mill list. We got plenty of scoops out of opponents, but we did get to completely mill out Simic Flash. Just flip that whole deck upside down. Felt good. And yeah, I think you should give the deck a try. I'm not... You have to love mill. Make sure you, like, in your soul, get everything out of making the opponent put cards from their library into their deck before you lay down your wild cards on Drowned Secrets. Not the greatest card in the world, but yeah, you probably will never regret crafting some God Eternal Kefnets and some Enter the God Eternals. Those cards are good, but those Drowned Secrets, make sure you absolutely love mill before you craft them. I do think you can build the deck without it. Just make a blue-black control deck. Sometimes you'll attack for lethal, sometimes you'll mill for lethal. It's fine. All right. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.